I'll call the meeting to order for the Committee of Adjustment on March 21st, 2024. So good evening, members of the committee, applicants, agents, staff, and members of the public. As this meeting is being held virtually as well, I will remind you that the meeting is being recorded and streamed live via the County of Brant YouTube account. There are no Committee of Adjustment members attending online, so I will not review the rules for that. Planning staff will be requested to join the meeting during presentations and will be available to answer questions. Applicants, agents, owners, and delegations are also participating virtually. All persons wishing to speak to the items on the agenda were required to register prior to the meeting. Any comments, questions, or concerns received in written format have been provided to the members of the committee and will form part of the meeting record. Applicants, agents, and members of the public, if you are attending virtually, please ensure your camera is off, your microphone is on mute throughout the meeting, and your name is correct on the Zoom screen. When called upon to speak, please remember to unmute your microphone and turn on your camera before speaking. There are no public delegations that have registered for any of these applicants tonight, and we do have quorum of all members, and as again, no members are attending virtually. If you are present in council chambers this evening and wish to speak, please come to the podium, giving your name and speak into the microphone. The meeting procedures are as follows. The meeting is held in accordance with the provision of the Planning Act. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss minor variance and consent applications and give anyone in attendance the opportunity to ask questions, provide comments related to an application. Notice of this meeting was provided by mail and signed posted by staff as required by the Planning Act. A copy of the meeting agenda, including the staff report, related materials, and comments received are available on the County of Brant website. Once the presentations, public hearing, and question period are complete for each item, if the committee deems it appropriate, they will make a decision. Each committee decision is final following the 20-day appeal period. Please note the sign-in sheet at the entrance if you are attending in person and wish to be notified of any decision from this evening. Kindly note your name and address and application on the sign-in sheet. If you do not request a copy on the sign-in sheet, you will not be notified. The names of those individuals who speak on any item tonight will appear within the meeting minutes. Anyone wishing to receive further notice or a copy of the committee's decision, please contact the County of Brant Planning Department. The order of delegation are as follows: planning staff report and recommendation, the applicant agent presentation, question and discussions, public comments, further questions of clarification, and the decision. I'll now call the committee members in the following order, and please indicate by stating present if you are in attendance. Mary Jane Brown, present. Harry Emmett.
Present.
Bob Hamilton.
Present.
Jane Peneg.
Present.
Steve Schmidt.
Present.
John Vamos.
Present.
And we will note that Rebecca Smith is not present tonight. We'll now move to item 2 on the agenda, approval of the agenda. Do any members have items to be added to the agenda? I request a mover and a seconder. Member Emmett, and seconder. Member Vamos. Please provide your motion.
It's moved by myself and second by Member Vamos that the agenda for the County of Brant Committee of Adjustment meeting of March 21st, 2024 be approved.
Thank you. Members, please indicate if you're in favor of the motion, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Peneg.
Yes.
Member Vamos.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Hamilton.
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve the agenda has carried. We now have our agenda set. We'll now move to item 3, declaration of pecuniary interests. Are there any members who would like to declare a conflict of interest for any items on the agenda this evening? It appears there are none. We will now move to item 4 on the agenda, adoption of the minutes from previous meetings, February 15th, 2024. Do the committee members have any errors or omissions to note? I believe there are none. Can I have a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes from the previous meeting? Member Vamus, seconder. Member Hamilton. Member Vamus, please go ahead with your motion.
Who's the seconder? Oh,
Minutes.
okay. Moved by myself and second by Member Hamilton that the minutes from the County of Brantford Committee of Adjustment meeting, February 15, 2024, be approved.
Thank you, Member Vamus. Members, please indicate if you're in favor of the motion, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Penang.
Yes.
Member Vamus.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Hamilton.
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to adopt the minutes from February 15th, 2024 has carried, and we now have our minutes from the previous meeting in record. I will now introduce item 5.1 for applications B36, B37, B38, 23HH, and turn it over to staff for the presentation of the report and the recommendation.
Good evening. This is a consent application for lands located at 38 Highway 24 within the former geographic township of Oakland. The subject lands are located southeast of Highway 24 near the intersection of Highway 24 and Vanessa Road. The surrounding lands consist of agriculture, natural heritage, and suburban residential land uses. The subject lands are privately serviced by septic and well. The subject lands are designated suburban residential and natural heritage within the County of Brant official plan and currently zoned suburban residential and natural heritage within the County of Brant zoning bylaw 6116. Consent application B36-B37-23-HH proposes the creation of 2 new residential building lots and proposes to retain the existing dwelling on the 3rd lot. The subject lands are within the suburban residential zone and are proposed to be privately serviced by septic and well. The retained residential parcel will have an area of approximately 5 hectares with permission for a residential dwelling and currently meets the zone requirements for the suburban residential zone. Consent application B38-23-HH proposes to establish right-of-way easements for across to the proposed severed lots for the primary entrance, which currently exists on the retained lot. The easements will establish mutual access. An easement in favor of severed parcel 1 and severed parcel 2 over the retained parcel, and an easement in favor of severed parcel 2 over severed parcel 1 is being proposed. As a result of the consent applications review, staff is of the opinion that the lot creation is consistent within the context of the existing surrounding development and consistent with the current planning policy. I am recommending approval of the consent application B36-B37-23-HH and B38-23-HH subject to the attached conditions. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Haley, for the presentation. Do the committee members have any questions to staff? Member Hamilton, please go ahead.
Through the chair to staff, I was just curious. I seen there was no condition here for potable water. I know there is this report here, but should there be a condition to, or is this report to replace that each lot would have potable water?
Through the chair, the report expresses that the report expresses that the lands have appropriate water for the
Yeah.
severed parcels.
I read that. I just didn't know if it should be included in the conditions. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from the committee to staff? Member Vamus?
Through the chair to Steph, so is it the county that didn't want the 2 extra driveways? Or is the applicant, he wanted a shared entrance?
Through the chair, since this is a arterial highway, the MTO has requested the entranceway to be like this. So this was a request through the MTO for proper access.
Okay.
Any further questions from committee members? I'll ask, is the applicant or their agent present? Yes? Do you wish to add to the staff report?
No, just here to say that we support staff's recommendation and the conditions, and we thank staff for all their efforts and are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. What's your name, please?
Jennifer Gaudette.
Can you come up to the podium, please? Can I just have your name again because I didn't hear it?
Yes, Jennifer Gaudette. Last name is Gaudet, and I'm an associate planner with MHBC Planning, representing the owners on this application.
Thank you. Do committee members have any questions to the applicant's agent on these applications? Member Panag, please go ahead.
Through the chair, I have a question. When you Google the property, it comes out as sold. Is it recently sold? Just curious.
Through the chair to member Penang, it is my understanding that the property has been in the same ownership for some time. I'll confirm that with, yes, that's the case.
Any further questions? Member Hamilton?
Through the chair to the applicant, when I was out there, I noticed there was many trees on those 2 lots. And I know that they've expressed in here the 2-to-1 replacement ratio. By the time they dig the holes, make the stuff, and put the septic systems in, is the applicant expecting to plant twice as many trees as he took out, or not?
Through the chair to member Hamilton. So one of the conditions is a requirement for a tree management plan. So that plan will involve identifying any trees that will be harmed or destroyed as part of the building permit applications. And the owner has expressed an interest in spading the large trees and relocating them on the property.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Well, but he still will be destroying some trees that won't all be spaded.
Likely, yes, but that would be dealt with through the tree management plan, and then the tree compensation will be provided in accordance with the bylaw.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Any further comments or questions from committee members? Member Vamus?
Yes, through the chair to the applicant. Is in the I noticed in the archaeological study, in the analysis and conclusions at the last page, it refers to a very small limited area that this study was done in. And it states that most of the property was not subject to an assessment. Is there a reason for that, or just?
Through the chair to member Vamos, yes, there's quite a significant portion of the property that's within a natural heritage area. So that portion of the property was not assessed because it's not proposed to be disturbed.
There could be still archaeological potential there in the conclusion. No, I was just wondering. Thanks.
Does that answers your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? I'll note were no public delegations registered for these applications. So if there are no further comments or questions from committee members, I'll request a motion. And I believe all conditions, I'll just check with staff, all conditions apply to both severances. There's no difference. In that case,
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
then I guess we could have one motion for both applications. Member Hamilton? Right, there on the updated literature, if you'll note your submission referred to B36 through to B38, and the A27 minor variance was dropped there, but the easement, yes, would have to be covered under a separate motion. But because the conditions are the same for the two applications, I think we can handle it with one motion. And with that, can I request a motion? Member Hamilton, put forth your motion, please, and then see if a seconder is obtained.
Okay, I move that we accept application B36, B37, 38 's the easement, correct? Yeah. 36 and 37, with the list of conditions that have been put forward because it meets parts of the official plan and the zoning bylaws for the County of Brant.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Member Schmidt? I'll now call the votes. Please indicate if you are in favor, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Schmidt?
Yes.
Member Hamilton?
Yes.
Member Penag?
Yes.
Member Vamus?
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve applications B36 and B37 has carried. So the applications are successful. I will now request a motion on B3823HH for the easement. Member Emmett, please state your motion.
Moved by myself, seeking a seconder that application B38-23-HH be approved.
Thank you. Member Schmidt, you wish to second? Thank you. I'll now call the vote. Oh, sorry, I didn't take your reason. You didn't have reasons like Member Hamilton.
That it suits the county's official plan.
Sure. Thank you. You're in agreement, Member Schmidt?
Yes.
I'll now call the vote, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Schmidt?
Yes.
Member Hamilton?
Yes.
Member Penag?
Yes.
And Member Vamus?
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve application B3823HH has carried. So the application for the easement has now been approved. Thank you. I will now introduce item 5.2 for applications B1, B2, 24HH, and turn it over to staff for the presentation of the report and the recommendation.
This is a consent application for lands located at 356 Bishopsgate Road within the former geographic township of Burford. The subject lands are located south of Bishopsgate Road and Colburn Street West intersection. The subject lands are municipally known as 356 Bishopsgate Road. The subject lands are privately serviced by municipal water, sanitary, and storm. As noted in the comments from the operations division within the report, the subject lands are part of a drainage study area with ongoing works currently underway. The applicant and any future landowner should be aware that new site plans within the drainage study area will be expected to conform to the recommendations of the drainage report, and costs for the drainage solutions will be appointed to the benefiting properties in accordance with the Drainage Act. The subject lands are designated general employment within the County of Brant official plan and are currently zoned site-specific light industrial within the County of Brant zoning bylaw 6116. The current site-specific zoning permits all of the uses within the light industrial M2 zone and permits a parking reduction of 1 space per 135 square meters associated with any future warehouse use. Consent application B1-24-HH proposes a severance for the creation of 1 new lot to be developed for employment use. Consent application B2-24-HH proposes to create an easement to facilitate access from the current existing entrance on the retained lands to cross over and enter the severed lands as required by the County of Brant Engineering Department. The size of the easement is meant for the efficient ingress and egress into the site. Detailed design and technical review of the development of the light industrial parcels will be facilitated through the site plan control process, assessing access, landscaping, grading, noise, drainage, lighting, and more. As a result of the consent application review, staff is of the opinion that the lot creation is consistent with the context of the existing surrounding development and consistent with the current planning policy. I am recommending approval of the consent application B1-24-HH and B2-24-HH, subject to the attached conditions. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Haley, for the presentation. I will ask committee members, do you have any questions to staff on this applications? Member Hamilton?
Through the chair to staff, I think I know the answer, but I want to verify it. There's nothing in there to show anything for firefighting or cistern. Will that be incorporated in the site plan to ensure, or the building permit, I guess, initially, whenever it's put forward, in order to protect what's there?
Through the chair, yes, you're correct. That would be reviewed at this time of site plan control.
So we don't need to worry about anything at this time?
Yes, that's correct. All of it will be reviewed at site plan control.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from committee members? Member Hamilton?
A different question, and this one here is on the easement. Looking at the picture that you have drawn there, I was just trying to figure out when I was out looking there, are they going to be putting in a driveway? I don't believe there was a driveway on this initially, right now, but in the future there'll be a drive going in, and then that's where the easement will go into that part that's to be severed.
Through the chair, yes, that's correct. There will be one entrance, and then there will be a driveway permitting access to the severed and retained lands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will they need, if they have to build a driveway, they'll need to put in or get a building permit for a driveway to be added into that? I don't know if that would be the easement or is that because we split this off 2 or 3 meetings ago, it would be fair, the initial before this secondary severance here.
Through the chair, an entrance permit would be required. I can't speak to if it's been obtained as of yet. I believe it would have been addressed in the original severance.
That's what I'm not sure. I think they would have identified, we don't have that in front of us right now, so I was just trying to make sure that we're covered off and that the county gets paid for any entrances that go into it.
Right.
I'll only comment that in the interdepartmental considerations from development engineering, they make it as a condition for the easement, but the conditions don't explicitly require an easement. Is that necessary to add a condition?
Through the chair, could you reword that question, please?
Okay, they're in feedback from engineering. They note that an easement is required, but the specific conditions on page 11 of 17 or page 123 of 197, it doesn't explicitly give a condition for an easement. What I'm asking, is it necessary to include that as a condition?
So through the chair, the reason the condition is not in there is because they've included it through their application.
Okay.
So there's no requirement for an additional condition. The comment from development engineering just ensures that that easement is there and the applicants have applied for it in this case, so no reason to have it as a condition.
Okay, thank you then. I was just thinking that with Member Hamilton's requirement for an entrance permit, technically there's no entrance for this lot unless it has an easement, right?
Through the chair, for the severed lot, yes.
So does that answer? Yeah, okay. Any other comments or questions to staff on these two applications? Then I will ask, is the applicant or their agent present? Yes? Could you please come to the podium? Can we have your name too, please?
Yeah, it's Zach Hoffner from Paul Sand Construction.
Thank you. Do you wish to add to the staff report?
Through the chair, not at this time.
You're satisfied with it. Any questions for the applicant from committee members? No, it appears there are none, so I'll ask, are there any final points of clarification or comments on these two applications? And I believe there were no public delegations registered for these applications either. So with that, I'll ask the committee, are you prepared to provide a motion on the first application for a severance? There would have to be a separate motion for the easement. Member Schmidt, can you provide a motion?
It is moved by myself and seconded, or looking for a seconder, that application B124HH be approved, seeing that it fits all the criteria set out by the county.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Member Emmett? I'll now call the vote, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Schmidt?
Yes.
Member Hamilton?
Yes.
Member Peneg?
Yes.
Member Vamus?
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve application B124HH has carried, so that application to sever has been approved. I'll now request a motion on the second application, B224HH. Would you like to provide it again, Member Schmidt? Please go ahead.
It is moved by myself, seeking a seconder, that application B2-24-88 be approved, seeing that it meets the criteria required
By the county.
by the county, yes.
Thank you. Member Emmett wishes to second. I'll now call the vote, starting with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Hamilton.
Yes.
Member Peneg.
Yes.
Member Vamus.
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve application B224HH has carried. That application for the easement has now been approved. I will now introduce the item 5.3 application A224HH and turn it over to staff for the presentation of the report and the recommendation.
This is a minor variance application for lands located at 161 Markle Drive within the geographic township of Paris. The subject lands are located between Potruff Road and Hutchings Road, north of Markle Drive in the county of Brant. The subject lands are currently vacant with a total land area of 4.10 hectares. The surrounding area consists of residential, employment, and open space land uses. The subject lands are located in a priority employment area which encourages employment opportunities within this area. The lands to the south currently contain a large industrial employment plant. The subject lands are designated employment within the County of Brant official plan and are currently zoned light industrial within the County of Brant zoning bylaw 6116. The applicant is seeking relief from section 11, table 11.2.1 of the County of Brant zoning bylaw 6116 for an increase in height for an industrial warehousing logistics building, including a portion of office space. The applicant has proposed an increase in height to 15 meters, whereas 12 meters is permitted, and proposes to reduce the street setback of 6 meters, whereas 9 meters is permitted. The variances are necessary to accommodate maximum vertical storage. As a result of the minor variance review, staff is of the opinion that the request is in keeping with the overall intent of the zoning bylaw, in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The request is minor in nature and may not negatively impact adjacent land uses. I am recommending approval of the minor variance application A2-24-HH. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Haley, for the presentation. Do any committee members have comments or questions to staff? Member Panay, please go ahead.
Through the chair, I have a question to the staff. The residential subdivision behind property, was it notified about the height of the building?
Through the chair, all residents within 60 meters of the proposed property would be notified of the application.
Because of the vacant land behind it, so it may not be 60 meters.
Through the chair, this is policy that we've been following for our circulation radius.
Thank you.
I think it doesn't matter what's in between as long as it makes the distance in the arc, they're notified. Any further comments or questions to staff on this? No? I'll ask is the, Member Vamus, please go ahead.
Yeah, through the chair to staff. So the, it's Miracle Drive, that's asking for the setback reduction, right? Not the other side?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions to staff? No? Then I'll ask, is the applicant or their agent, and I believe they're attending online.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. Stephanie Murdoch with MHBC Planning.
Do you have anything you wish to add to the staff report?
I'll just be brief with a few remarks. So we're here on behalf of Granite REIT for the application. Just important information for the committee. We're working on behalf of the applicant through an active site plan application for a warehouse use. Thanks to staff for the thorough presentation and staff report. Again, the purpose of the application is to increase the height from 12 to 15 meters to allow for maximum vertical storage in accordance with typical market conditions. The site is already permitted for industrial uses. And yes, to confirm, the street line setback reduction is actually to shift the building closer to Markle Drive to minimize any impact at the rear of the building. So again, we've reviewed the staff report and we're supportive of the comments and staff recommendation for approval, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any committee members have comments or questions to the agent? I believe there are none for you. Then with that, I know there are no public delegations registered on this application. I'll ask the committee, are you prepared to provide a motion on this minor variance? Member Hamilton, please state your motion. Thank you. Is there a seconder? Member Panag? I'll now call the vote, starting with Member Emmett,
Yes.
Member Schmidt,
Yes.
Member Hamilton,
Yes.
Member Panag,
Yes.
and Member Bamus.
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to approve application A224HH has carried, so the application has been approved. Thank you. I will now introduce the item 5.4, application A324HH for 80 Ball Street, and turn it over to staff for the presentation of the report and the recommendation.
Thank you. This is a minor variance application for lands located at 80 Ball Street within the former geographic township of Paris. The subject lands are located between Ball Street and Race Street on the east side of Ball Street. The subject lands are currently serviced by municipal water, sanitary, and stormwater infrastructure. The surrounding area consists of urban residential and natural heritage land uses. The subject lands are designated urban residential within the County of Brant official plan, and the subject lands are currently zoned residential singles and semis within the County of Brant zoning bylaw 6116. The applicants are proposing to construct an attached garage for the for personal storage and a covered deck. The applicants are requesting relief from zoning bylaw 6116, section 8, table 8.2.1 for variances to the rear yard setback and a minimum landscape open space. The applicants are also requesting relief from section 4, table 4.44.1 for the purpose of the encroachment of eaves. The relief requested is as follows: to permit a reduced rear yard setback of 1.2 meters, whereas 6 meters is required. To permit a reduced minimum landscape open space of 30% to 25%. To permit an encroachment of 0.6 meters, whereas 0.5 meters is required. As a result of the minor variance review, staff is of the opinion that the request is in keeping with the overall intent of the zoning bylaw, in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The request is minor in nature and may not negatively impact adjacent land uses. I am recommending approval of the minor variance application A3-24-HH. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Haley, for the presentation. I'll ask committee members, are there any questions to staff on this application? Member Emmett?
With the eve encroachment part of the application, have the neighbors been notified that this is happening?
Through the chair, the neighbors would have been notified through the circulation of 60 meters.
But you don't know whether they agreed or disagreed with it?
Through the chair, there was a sign also posted on the site 14 days before that proposal.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions to staff? I'll ask, is the applicant or their agent present? Yes, can you please come to the podium? You
Hi.
provide your name.
Don Farmer.
Thank you. Do you have anything you wish to add to the staff report?
Not at this time. We got in Calhoun, we did a soil sample, and I know county has been out, I met them one afternoon, so I think everything was in accordance with what we're trying to do. Unfortunately, the angles of our lot, when it was originally done in the late sixties, is why we're asking for our variance. If it was a square lot, probably asking for it.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from committee members to the applicant? Member Hamilton, please go ahead.
Through the chair to the applicant, I just got a couple quick questions. You are going to be taking down that one little brown shed to the right
Yes.
of the thing, and the fence right behind it will be coming down as well? The fence from the little brown shed, because it shows that your driveway goes behind past your house, so it's gonna have to take the fence down, correct? No, behind the building, that fence that's right there.
Yes, that one will be coming down.
Yeah, sorry if I confused, but yeah, that's what, the other question I had, when you're going, secondary to that there, as you build your new garage, it appears it's gonna be behind the house 2 or 3, 4 feet, I'm not sure what exactly there is. There's that one big tree in the backyard, is that yours or the neighbor's, the one right behind it? You can see it in the picture, the big one right behind the car. No, I didn't ask the tree. I just, how close are you gonna be getting to that tree?
I don't think any more than what the existing deck is.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah, there's one tree that when the neighbors and I built the fence, it's uses part of the tree as the fence, and I think so does the second one. The one on the right-hand side of the driveway is on the neighbor's property. I think it's a pine or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's the big deciduous one right behind, as you look from the car right behind it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was on your property or the neighbor's. That was what, you can't, without going up and looking over the fence, I don't do those
I think
things.
it's I think it's really on theirs, but it's grown so big that when they did the fence, they sort of used it as part of the fence for both of those. They've trimmed them, I think, every year now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions to the applicant? Member Vamus?
Through the chair to the applicant, the proposed addition in the garage and mudroom, it's only about 300 square feet, looks smaller than the house. It's almost the same size of the house. That seems pretty large addition. It's almost a whole nother house you're adding on. I don't know. Is there gonna be like running water there or heat and a kitchen, bathroom or?
It's only a 2-car garage, covered porch at the back. We're knocking down the shed, and behind that fence that we're knocking down is a 13 by 14 deck, so we'll have no outdoor space. So at the end of the garage will be a covered deck where we will be able to sit outside.
Just, it seems, it's almost the same size as the house. That's why it seems large. Well, that's why for that size, the 1,000 square feet roughly, you see on your application, you have a $90,000 value. That's a little, seems a little bit on the low side for that size of a building.
Yeah, we'll see. As when we originally started this, we got the first price gap, and then COVID hit, and unfortunately everything just went through the roof.
No, just on that, your permit application, the value seems pretty low compared to the square footage. Okay.
It's just
Okay, thanks.
Any further comments, questions to the applicant? I believe there are none, then I'll request, are there any final comments or questions? And I believe there were no public delegations registered. And with that, I will ask the committee, are you prepared to make a motion on this minor variance? Is there a member who wishes to make a motion on this minor variance? No member wishes to make a motion, either to approve or refuse? Would you like further discussion? Member Hamilton, do you wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move to accept application A3-24-HH as a minor variance because it is minor in nature and it does meet the zoning and official plan of the County of Brant.
Thank you. Is there a seconder who can support that motion? There is no seconder, so the motion on the floor fails then. Can I request a motion for another action on this application then? Perhaps we could have Member Penag, do you wish to make a motion or would you like to have some further discussion? I don't know if that can be covered with a motion by this committee. You could make a motion to defer the application with the suggestion that the applicant come back with a modification to their application. Is there a motion to defer or refuse this application?
I'd like to make a motion to defer the application.
To defer?
Yes.
And the reason is can you provide a reason?
The reasons that the owner or the applicant should discuss with the planning to reduce the size. That's my reason.
Thank you. Is there another member who wishes to support the motion to defer this application? Member Vamus, you wish to second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll now call the vote, which is, there is a motion on the floor to defer this application. And I'll start with Member Emmett.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Hamilton.
Yes.
Member Penag.
Yes.
Member Vamus.
Yes.
And Brown, yes. The motion to defer this application A3-24HH has carried. So I'm assuming it will show up in the next cycle or two on our agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee members. The next meeting is scheduled to be April 18th, 2024. And I will just note that I will not be in attendance at that meeting. Again, it will be a hybrid meeting starting at 6 p.m. May I please get a motion to adjourn this meeting? Member Emmett and a seconder. Member Penag. Member Emmett, can I please have your motion?
Moved by myself and seconded by member Panag that the meeting of March 21st, 2024 be adjourned.
Thank you. I will now ask all those in favor with a show of hands. And the motion is now carried, so the meeting is adjourned.